Hi again, everybody. I am Terry Vanderbeck with Sanford Sports. Welcome back to the Sanford Pentagon. Welcome back, David Brown, Midco Sports Network. Welcome back, college basketball.
It's like we never left.
It's like we never left, which makes it really strange. So to catch you up, we were here just last week, running through the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference men's and women's basketball tournament. That's the norm this time of year in this building with Midco Sports Network. However, we've got a change of scenery today. We are at the Summit League men's and women's basketball tournament, which has been held since 2009 in Sioux Falls, but first at the iconic Sioux Falls Arena, and then most recently at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. However, due to the pandemic, due to the fact that no true fans will be allowed in, the event has been moved over here to the Sanford Pentagon for the first time. David, your thoughts on that? It's normal, but it's also strange.
It is. You know, as someone who's done so many NSIC games here, I love this building. I think this building's fantastic as a basketball environment. Obviously, it's a little different. You mentioned moving it here. Part of the reason you have all these practice courts, so teams can kind of be under one roof, keep the health and safety protocols at a maximum. But it will be definitely interesting. As you mentioned, not a lot of true fans. There's limited family and friends of the teams, but it will be kind of like NSIC, where you'll hear maybe a smattering of stuff, but we'll see how that affects the non-Dakota teams, because in years past, it's usually been dominated by either a North or a South Dakota team. Maybe another team from outside these Dakota areas can have a run in this tournament on both sides.
Yes, to your point, the last 9 men's champions have been either South Dakota State or North Dakota State. And on the women's side, of the last 12, 9 for SDSU, 2 for USD, 1 for Western Illinois. So to your point, maybe this is the year things go a little off. I will say, for folks, it's certainly disappointing for fans.
Right.
We understand that. At the same time, I know those of us here with the tournament, with the building, take a tremendous amount of pride in this event as well. I know for MidcoSN, it's a big deal that you guys have the streaming capabilities now, so people can watch this across the country. And for us, we believe that we are one of the premier basketball venues in the nation. So to get to host this event in this year means a lot. Rest assured that we know how to roll out the red carpet for teams. That's how we get a Gonzaga and Iowa, South Carolina women. And so for us, it's a continuation of an exceptional year. And so we take a lot of pride in this. So hopefully everyone understands and gather with friends and family at home, watch in other ways, and know that things hopefully will be back to normal next year.
Absolutely, and obviously you guys take pride in this. MidcoSN takes pride in broadcasting these games. We will make sure that you are as closest to the action as possible. We take so much pride in the preparation and making sure that we dot our I's, cross our T's, everything. If you're a diehard Summit League fan, we have got you covered.
And David Brown will be here pre-game, halftime, post-game of every game with Freddie Coleman, our very own Freddie Coleman here, who runs the Sanford Power Basketball Academy in Fargo, former player and coach at North Dakota State, all-around good dude. So that'll be fun. You guys have a lot of fun. Make sure you guys check that out each day. Let's talk quickly, David, about the matchups. We get going per usual with the women, and per usual, South Dakota State and South Dakota are part of D1 by being the top seeds. The SDSU women come in ranked 21st in the country. They've won 18 in a row. They are undefeated in league play for the first time. However, they are without the Summit League Player of the Year, Maya Sellen, due to injury. That happened a couple weeks ago. So it's interesting. They've kind of owned this tournament for the most part, and yet, as we'll talk about, the injury theme is very well could play a large factor in this year's tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, South Dakota State has won 9 of the 12 Summit League tournaments since it moved to Sioux Falls. But as you said, no Maya Sellen, no Player of the Year. Also probably going to be without Tori Nelson, who also has a knee injury. May come back during the tournament, remains to be seen. And even though this is a 1-8 matchup, in the regular season, Omaha and SDSU, they played tight games. Omaha led at halftime of the first game, tied at halftime of the second game, and those games were with Maya Sellen for SDSU. So don't dismiss this immediately as a 1-8 mismatch. Omaha can hang with SDSU.
And the second women's game at 2:45 features the defending champion Coyotes against the 7th seed Oral Roberts. USD is 2-0 in that matchup this year, won both games handily in Vermilion just a couple weeks ago. This is going to be interesting. The Coyotes went from favorite to now being second in the league, but defending champs, still an excellent team. They've played here a few times this year as well. Thoughts on the Coyotes and their attempt to repeat for the first time?
Well, what you just mentioned, they played in this building before. They opened the season with the Bad Boy Mower Crossover Classic against #1 South Carolina at the time, hung with them for a half. Gonzaga, they felt that game honestly slipped away, so they start the season 0-2 here, but then they've gone 16-3 since. They've won 6 in a row. You mentioned they're playing Oral Roberts. They, as you said, they handled Oral Roberts pretty handily down in Vermillion a couple weeks ago, but Laurie just seems to give USD fits at rare times. So it'll be interesting to see how the Golden Eagles adjust this third time around.
And let's switch gears to the men. The men will start off this evening also with games featuring South Dakota State and South Dakota. Again, would have been a huge day with fans. The Jackrabbits are the regular season champions again. However, they did not play Omaha during the regular season due to COVID. And for all their success, they have not won a game in this tournament. They went one and done the last 2 years, so it's been 3 years since they didn't win a game here.
Yeah, their last win was the 2018 championship against South Dakota, and they've been upset as the higher seed 2 years in a row. They lost in the 8-1 matchup to Western 2 years ago, lost in the 2-7 matchup to Purdue-Fort Wayne last season, and they're going to be without Noah Friedel, one of their best players. He's dealing, obviously, with his mental health. We wish Noah the best, obviously, but from strictly a basketball standpoint, Eric Henderson once again has to kind of figure out his rotation, figure out what guys are going to play in tournament time. Again, this is solely from a basketball standpoint, but that will be interesting for SDSU, and can they kind of get over the fact they've been upset 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and that team, however, should not be unfamiliar with this building. They seemingly have played half of their games here this year. Same with the Usd Coyotes. They have played a chunk of games here as well as part of the Coach Showcase. To be honest, their season sort of turned in this building. They were winless and I think 0-6. And they came out and beat SDSU. Stanley Umude went crazy in that
41.
game. 41 points, absolutely lit the building on fire. And they faced a Western Illinois team that they swept during the season. But again, no AJ Plitzaway. They lost the first team All-Summer League guard to a knee injury a couple weeks ago. It's sort of the start of another season, it feels like, for the Coyotes.
Yeah, so obviously AJ being out is a huge loss for USD. There's no question about it. But Stanley Umude, he has the capability, as we saw in this building earlier this year, to go off. He is more than capable of stringing together maybe 3 straight 30, 35-point games and leading USD to a Summit League title. I think he embraces that challenge. I think he wants that challenge. So that's what I'm interested in seeing. How does Stanley Umude come out right away knowing that he's going to have to shoulder the load, at least offensively, for USD? And then for Western Illinois, they're the 7th seed, but they've been lower seed in this tournament. 2 years ago, they beat SDSU, so don't count the Leathernecks out. It is a pretty much brand new team this season compared to last season, but that also brings the unknown factor into the equation.
And they have an excellent coach in Rod Jeter, who's been around the league, around the country.
Assistant.
Absolutely, a fantastic coach. Was the head coach of Wisconsin Milwaukee. Had been going for a while, so he knows how to coach. No fans in the building. You're not going to have that advantage that we've heard people in the past say they think that in-state advantage with the fans is worth 10 points a game.
Yeah.
And that's 10 points
I wouldn't doubt it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, again, SDSU and USD on both the women's and men's side react to kind of, not necessarily a mausoleum, but just sort of an emptier gym feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So, friendly reminder, programming. Games get going. They're a few minutes different this year to allow for protocols. We're about that hammered in our brains, but 11:45 things get going. Games every 3 hours. All the games on Midco Sports Network, plus the new streaming app. Check it out if you haven't already. We will be here every morning with the pre-game show with David Brown. David, thank you. This is going to be fun. Everybody enjoy the games.